Oh, thank you. Good evening again. Welcome. Today is the board meeting of the Board of Education. And Chrissy, will you please take the roll?
Sure. Member Cassidy,
Here.
Member Beeftink,
Here.
Member Arms, absent. Member Silvershack,
Here.
Member Baser,
Here.
Member Weinstock,
Here.
and President Gallinson.
Here. Now we'll pause for the Pledge of Allegiance. Raise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on the agenda is visitors' comments. Seeing no visitors, we will move to the superintendent's report.
Thank you so much. I just have a few updates for you this evening. First of all, I just wanted to share with you a little bit about our summer programming this summer at Northbrook Junior High in Westmore. As you know, in summer programming, we actually have 3 different programs going on. One is our summer enrichment program. Another is, of course, our extended school year program. And then we also have academic boost programming for students that are interested or needing an academic boost program. So first through 4th graders, incoming 1st through 4th graders are housed at Westmore, and of course incoming 5th through 8th graders are at MBJH. We also have some programming for Young Explorers for ESY at Westmore, and in total this summer we have 428 students that are participating in our summer program. We have 93 teachers and assistants as well as related services staff that are supporting our students, and our program runs through the end of June. Also, it's worth mentioning that both Northbrook Park District uses Greenbrier for camps, as well as True North runs their summer program out of Meadowbrook. So as you pass our schools, you will see quite a bit of activity, and we are continuing to utilize our facilities through our summer as well. The end of the school year actually ended this year with 1,882 students. We started the year with 1,845. Most of our increase was in our Young Explorer program. As you know, we have rolling enrollment. When a child turns 3, they're eligible for services on their 3rd birthday, so we begin to provide programming at that time. And then you can also see in the superintendent's report just a summary of our enrollment for the coming school year. It's still a little bit early for us to bank on these numbers, but in total we have 1,806 students who have enrolled as of the 14th of June. We'll continue to have students enroll. We typically have a little bit of a rush right before school starts in August with a few more students, so we'll have an update for you at one of our future board meetings. I wanted to also mention we received some notification over the weekend that Terry Ryan and District 28 actually have been recognized by the National School Public Relations Association Publication and Digital Media Awards. Terry will actually be traveling to St. Louis this summer to accept the award. We actually received 2 awards of excellence, which is the top category of recognition for their organization. One was for the entry plan report that Terry helped us put together for February, as well as we received an award of excellence for our community newsletter, Update 28. And we also received an honorable mention for our podcast of Transforming Math Learning that we did this last year. So we are very excited and appreciate all of Terry's efforts and the recognition, because it's a lot of work, and it's really a tremendous honor for her to be recognized at the national level by her organization. And I believe she said these are your first excellence in your career, right?
At the national level.
At the national level. So congratulations to Terry. And that completes the superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to Terry. We really appreciate all of your hard work to get the great news out to the community, so thank you. Next is the approval of minutes. Does anyone have any changes to the regular meeting or the closed meeting for May 23rd? None? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. I'm sorry, let me just clarify. This is to approve the regular and closed meeting, not the policy? Is that separate?
The
Okay.
first item is
Yeah.
just the May 23rd meeting.
Then I do second.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Member Cassidy?
Aye.
Member Silvershack?
Aye.
Member Baser?
I was not here.
So you say abstain.
Abstain.
Yeah. Abstain. Member Weinsack?
Aye.
Member Beeftink?
Aye.
Member Arms?
Aye.
And President Gallinson.
Aye. The next item is the approval of policy committee meeting minutes for January 10th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
And
Okay. Member Cassidy?
Aye.
Member Weinsack?
Aye.
Member Beeftink?
Aye.
Member Arms?
Aye.
Member Silvershack?
Aye.
Member Baser?
Abstain.
Actually, that one you don't have to, because this one is just the policy committee meeting, which we're having it approved here because Michelle's gone, so,
Then aye.
okay. And President Gallinson.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Okay. Next is the approval of the consent agenda. And who had the bills this month?
I had the bills this month. I went through them, sat down, and had a good discussion with Jessica. Everything looked fine, so
Thank you.
no comments.
Anything that anyone wants to pull out of the consent agenda for discussion? Any questions? Comments? We could just approve in total. Okay. So a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Member Baser?
Aye.
Member Silvershack?
Aye.
Member Weinsack?
Aye.
Member Cassidy?
Aye.
Member Beeftink?
Aye.
Member Arms?
Aye.
And President Gallinson.
Aye. Next up is finance. Jessica.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Adam, for reviewing the bills and going through a little bit of School Finance 101 with me. Through the end of the month of May, we've completed 11 months in the fiscal year. We're at 82% of our current year budget expended and over 100% of our revenues received. Those the over 100% is due to two reasons. Primarily, it's the corporate personal property replacement taxes and interest income, both of which exceeded our projections when we adopted the budget last year. Our food service sales continued to be amazing compared to where we were at, and even where we were at pre-2020. Our sales to date was $413,781, which is about 2.5 times where we were at this time last year. We did show a profit for the month of about $2,300, but a year-to-date operating deficit of about $4,100. We'll be revisiting food costs in that in July for next year and see if there's some things we need to do with the cost of our meals. So just a preview of that for you. And Finance Committee, Matt and Mara, we were able to touch base before the meeting. We'll find a date for us to meet, and then prior to our July meeting, the Committee of the Whole, so the whole board will review the tentative budget at that time. Any questions for me?
Any questions, comments? It's an action item, so do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Member Weinsack?
Aye.
Member Cassidy?
Aye.
Member Beeftink?
Aye.
Member Arms?
Aye.
Member Silvershack?
Aye.
Member Baser?
Aye.
And President Gallinson.
Aye. Next is Human Resources. Edward?
Good evening. Just briefly want to mention that we're in the process of finalizing a selection for a vendor for compliance with Faith's law, which requires us to conduct an employment history review for any new personnel hired after July 1st. So just want to let you know we'll be selecting that vendor, and then we'll be engaging that process with all our new personnel that are hired. And that's all. Thank you.
Is that different than a regular background check?
Yes, it requires us to obtain history for any new personnel, specific to if they worked in a prior work role, if they worked with students at all, and if there was any issue related to any kind of misconduct.
Thank you.
So this is a second layer that was updated with the new policy and the Faith law that was passed earlier this year as far as legislation.
That's correct.
Okay.
And the board is approving several policy items this evening in regard to Faith's law.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Student Services, Kelly?
Good evening. In your board packet, you should have received a memo regarding the annual Code of Conduct update. During the month of May, I had an opportunity to meet with principals and other administrators as well as social workers across the elementary and junior high to take a look at the Code of Conduct. And in particular, we spent a good amount of time looking at the consequences for misbehavior, which are considered Category 1, Category 2, and Category 3 consequences, looking to look for opportunity to refine the language in the handbook to ensure that our practice and our procedure match in what we're doing. And with that, we also took a look at Section 2 of the dress code within the policy handbook. After meeting with the teams at the building sites, Board Member Arms, myself, social work representatives and administrative representatives, along with parent representatives from each of the buildings, came together on May 18th to review the parent-student handbook portion, the Code of Conduct. Really spent some time talking about how the Code of Conduct is put together and what we use to inform the Code of Conduct. We talked about some of the recommended changes that we're looking to make in the student handbook, as well as then to particularly, as I said, look at that language in Category 1, 2, and 3 behaviors. So since that time, we've spent some time going through in preparation to work with Terry Ryan to update the handbook and going through looking at those Category 1, 2, and 3 behaviors. Right now it reads consequences. We're hoping to change that language to read response to behavior, and including in that, ensuring that we are making note of restorative measures and other strategies we're putting in place, so it's not just consequence driven. And that language aligns with the language that's included in the section that is around bullying, harassment, and intimidation. So there's some consistency in the language. So really trying to tighten up and clean up the language. There are some behaviors that are redundant, so we're trying to clean that up, as well as some of the consequences are outdated consequences and not consequences that are currently in practice. So with that, I'll be, as I said, be working with Terry. We'll get the language updated, and that will go in the student handbook, which is available on the district website. Any questions?
Can you share any information about the dress code policy changes?
The one recommended change, and this came from meeting with all of the teams, as I said, at the building level. The one area that was in question this school year was the statement around hats being worn in school. And the administrators across the board are finding that it's a policy that we have students who come to school and wear hats, that it's not disruptive to the school environment. So they feel across the board that that is not language that needs to be included in the handbook. Certainly within the handbook, it does say if there's something that a student is wearing that is disruptive to the environment, that an administrator or staff member can ask a student to make a change, but that was one. Different student council, different representative groups are having hat days for students, so they found that is one that's a little more antiquated. Then there was one other bullet point where we're going to be taking and putting two bullet points together around dress related to shirts or messaging that is obscene. Right now it's 2 bullet points that really are saying the same thing, so we're putting those 2 pieces together. You're welcome. There's no changes around any of the policies. Any of the changes are just around what we have written within the handbook language. So the policies will remain the same and would only change if there was recommendation coming out of the policy committee.
And just for board members that aren't familiar, this is an annual process for us. It's a standing committee with a board representative each year that does review the student code of conduct and the handbooks, just to make sure that it's in line with kind of what we had hoped. Kelly is actually kind of working with her team to maybe do a bigger rewrite this next year, just to bring some other things in alignment. We also use, there's a state publication from the Illinois Principals Association that's a model handbook for schools and students that we use as a guide as well. So I appreciate the work that this team has done, and we look forward to maybe having another revision this coming year that, of course, will bring anything that's substantive to the board.
Thank you. Teaching and learning, Michelle and Chris.
Hi, everybody. We just have a quick update on our summer professional learning. As you know from our board meeting in April, we have lots of sessions that were created by teachers, many of them led by our own teachers throughout the summer. And so far, we have conducted 6 of those classes. About 100 of our staff members have attended. Lots of really positive responses. Staff members enjoy the learning, but also enjoy being together. And this is an opportunity for them to do some learning with colleagues from across the district and in different roles. And so they have enjoyed their time together. So we have 6 sessions under our belt and 28 more to go in July and August. Teachers have also been busy doing some curriculum revisions and a little bit of curriculum development. So 40 teachers have been involved so far in curriculum projects that they identified. And those projects range from working through, for example, the social studies curriculum, working on some SEL projects to be implemented in fall, as well as some professional training for teachers who are moving to new grade levels. So, as usual, in District 28, it's a busy time for adult learners.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? I know that the summer program emphasizes teacher choice, which I think is wonderful. Is there any professional learning that everyone is expected to take or that's done together?
So we do the common professional learning during the school year. We use our institute days to bring teachers together around common topics, either identified by the district or by the schools.
Great, thanks.
Sure.
Thank you. Buildings and grounds. Jessica? Good evening. So our buildings and grounds staff are very busy cleaning, and it's a very well coordinated dance around all of the building usage through the summer. Some of the projects going on are concrete and asphalt repairs throughout the district, the deep cleaning, some insulation work here at the junior high. The junior high gym is getting the new curtain wall. That's on target for being completed in early July. And where the current curtain wall is stored, we're going to put shelving in there, which will alleviate some storage issues we've had in the hallways here with some mats and things. The lower level terrazzo is going to be stripped, so it's been waxed and inappropriately taken care of. Oh, not inappropriately, but an interesting way to take care of it over the years. We're hoping to continue the longevity of that floor by a real deep stripping of that and a refinishing, so that'll require lower maintenance in years to come. The elevator project here is underway. We've approved that in the spring. Greenbrier rooftop unit should be here right after July for that auditorium cooling. We've kiln work here. We're adding 5 card access readers throughout the district. Some plumbing repairs, some rooftop maintenance repairs. So the building crew is very busy during these summer months. Do you want me to jump right
Thank you.
over to the assessment?
The facilities master plan?
Mm-hmm.
Great, we'd love an update.
Sure. So the last of our staff and community smaller workshops we held were held last week or the week before last. They were all finished. So they're looking at that data, and we look to have a draft report sometime late July, hopefully early August, on some of the data they've collected. I'll work with the Buildings and Grounds group sometime in August for us to get together and meet to review that initial data. We had, I'm trying to find the number of people who responded to the survey that was sent out. So we had just over 500 parents respond to the survey, 10 community members, and about 240 staff members replied to the survey, which is a pretty good result for that. So yeah, it's been an interesting project. It was interesting, the process they used to walk through the staff and the community members of kind of dreaming big, what does education look like in the future, and then how do our facilities, both inside and out, compare, or what are some needs or some good things we like about it. So it's been a great process to go through.
Great, we look forward to hearing more when it's ready. Matt, are there any legislative updates?
The only significant thing really was, the budget passed in Springfield. I'm sure there'll probably be some things to look at there as far as any changes that might or might not affect the district. But aside from that, most of them were things that didn't have much direct effect or were relatively small.
Thank you. The policy committee met last week. We presented the policies in the board packet. Are there any questions or any policies to bring out for discussion? Okay. And as described, the changes were made based on council review, based on the faith law changes that Edward had highlighted as well, that will go into effect on July 1st. With regard to employment verification, and then presses updates based on a 5-year review. Hearing no questions, do we have a motion to approve the policies? We have to name them. Okay. The policies as indicated in the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Member Weinstock,
Aye.
Member Baser,
Aye.
Member Cassidy,
Aye.
Member Beeftank,
Aye.
Member Arms,
Aye.
Member Silvershack,
Aye.
and President Galenson.
Aye. Next is communications.
Good evening. I'll keep mine quick. I provided a recap in my report of some of the end of the year social media news highlights that you can review. It's a busy time for a long-term project for me as well, transitioning to a whole new website platform. I'm excited at what I'm seeing and the capabilities that we're going to have to make some of our content more engaging and easier to navigate. It'll be great to have everything with easily identified button to push for translation. When a user visits the website and sets the translation, every time they come back, it will stay that way. I'm also working on transitioning the newsletter so that there will be translation features available for that as well. And, oh yes, and then the accessibility tools on the website will make that easier for those with special needs to navigate. And working on, some of the structure of the website as well. So it's kind of a big project trying to get that in, and it's wonderful to have time to set other things aside and dive in and do that. The Update 28, the award-winning Update 28 newsletter should be hitting the post office tomorrow or the next day with the June edition of 2023. And that just, I think I provided a recap in the board, weekly board updates of what's in there, so. Any questions for me? Okay.
Great. And when is the ceremony in St. Louis?
Oh, it's part of the national convention in July, mid-July.
Great.
Yeah, why we go to St. Louis in mid-July, I don't know.
I know
but
why.
We're the communications people, so we're on the lower budget, so.
Yes, exactly. Great, we look forward to seeing pictures with your awards and recognition. Thank you. Was it Chris or Mara who Mara transitioned? Chris, do you
Right.
have a True North update?
No, I was appointed after the last meeting. First meeting for me will be tomorrow.
Oh, great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Look forward to hearing next month. Thank you. Great. Any new business? Hearing none. Do we have a motion to go into closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity as authorized by law?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Member Silvershack? Oh,
Aye.
Member Arms?
Aye.
Member Baser?
Aye.
Member Weinstock?
Aye.
Member Cassidy?
Aye.
Member Beeftank?
Aye.
And President Gallinson.
Aye. And with that, we will go into closed session. There is no new business and no items on the agenda after the closed session, so we appreciate the time of the staff for the recording. We will end the recording now, and